Hey everyone! I finally got a chance to work on my Week in the Life 2022 album this weekend, so I thought I'd share some of my progress here so far and do a process video for everything that I have ready. And so far, I have about 30% of my album done. So I thought I'd start off by sharing how I organize my photos on my computer. So I have them all on Google Drive, and I downloaded all of the ones that I wanted onto my computer. And from there, I have folders sorted from Monday through to Sunday. And then in each of the days of the week, I have kind of a similar setup. So I have page 1A, which is going to be the very front page, is going to have a 4x6 selfie and a 3x4 photo. 1B, which is the back of the front page, is going to have my news and my weather. I chose not to separate those out because I'm just going to be printing out all of them on the same piece of matte cardstock paper. And then 2A and 2B is my second page. So 2A is just going to be a full-sized outside of the page photo. So that's a 6x8 photo. And then 2B is going to be 4 3x4 photos for my first prompt, which is triggered by the plastic word piece that I chose for each day of the week. And 3A is my second prompt that I'm using for each day, and that one is triggered by the canvas word that I picked for each day. And I'm only going to have 3 photos for that prompt. And then 3B is the back side of that page, which is going to have 4 3x4 other photos that I want to tell stories about during each day. And then for most of the days, I also have an extras folder with a bunch of other pictures that I've taken throughout the day that I want to include in the album, but I don't necessarily want to tell a whole story about it, so I might include them in a collage page, either in the front of my album or at the end of my album. So that repeats for each day of the week that I have. I did have less photos on Thursday and Sunday specifically, so I didn't have extra photos during those days, but other than that, I have lots of photos that I can pull from. And after that, I have separate folders for the Fitbit screenshots that I took throughout each day, as well as the weather screenshots and the news screenshots. So I primarily used my local newspaper app as well as the Front Pages app to get all of my newspaper screenshots. And with all of my photos, I'm only going to be printing them out as I need them. So for now, I've only printed out the photos as well as the screenshots that I need for page 1A and 1B of my album. So my process for completing each one of these pages is pretty much the same. This is going to be the first page for each day of the week, and then I'll have a couple of pages after that as well. So I thought instead of doing the voiceover and slowing down the video to show you like one page being completed from beginning to end, I'll just speed up this whole 2-hour long video of me working on my album, and I'll just explain kind of as I'm going along what I'm doing for each of the elements on my page. So to start off each day of the week, I have, using as my base, one of the 10x8 transparency days of the weeks from the Ali Edwards Week in the Life collection from this year, and I've just cut that down to a 7-inch wide by 8¼ inch tall page to be the same size as outside my page protector. So on the very front of this transparency, I'm going to cluster together a group of 3 elements. So the first is going to be the colored pleather piece that has the days of the week on it, and then on the bottom it says stories. I had just altered this on Microsoft Word and Paint to match the colors that I have going on for each day of the week. So each day of the week will have a designated color, and this will be going kind of in rainbow order. So Monday is going to be pink, and then Tuesday is orange, and then Wednesday is yellow, Thursday is green, Friday is a light blue, and then Saturday is gray, and then Sunday I have a very light pink. And I've printed these all out at 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall, just on some matte white cardstock. And that's going to be layered on top of the black chipboard day of the week frame that came in the Week in the Life mini kit. And that one I've layered over a 4x6 selfie of me. For most of the days of the week, like just the weekdays, they're of me at work. Last year during Week in the Life, I started talking with Tatiana Gordon on Instagram. She used to be a part of Ali's design team, and we both work in hospitals, not the same hospitals because she works in the States and I'm here in Canada. But we were talking about how it's difficult for us to capture photos of ourselves at work, and work is a big part of our lives because it's essentially like 8 hours of every day for 5 days a week. So we were kind of encouraging each other to to take selfies of ourselves at work in different angles, trying, of course, not to share any patient information, and making sure that, like maybe no one else is in the photo unless they've consented, so that we can maintain as much confidentiality as possible. So we got to sending some work pictures to and from each other. And we continued doing that this year as well. And I managed to get a lot of shots of myself at work, at least one, what I would consider a good one per day. So that's going to be the focus of the front page here. And that's going to be the larger 4x6 photo. And then the smaller photo is maybe another selfie of myself from a different angle, not necessarily at work, or on other days it could just be like a filler page photo, like a background of some sort, or the landscape, or some flowers, etc. And that second smaller photo, which is going to be 3 inches wide by 4 inches tall, is going to kind of lie below that 4x6 photo. And I'm going to use my Dymo label maker to type out the day, like the date for the day of the week as well. So for example, Monday is June 20th. I didn't bother putting in the year because I'm going to have that in my title page as well, and so then you would assume that all of these days are from 2022, of course. And I just really liked how the main kit had those kind of like similar looking word strips where you have white font on black on a black strip of background. And so I thought, to create kind of a similar effect, because I didn't get that main kit, I thought I would use my Dymo label maker, and it works just as well. So just some notes on assembly here. First, I had to put down the 3x4 photo, and I wanted to make sure that I had as little adhesive possible showing through the other side, because I am putting this on a transparency. And so because I'm going to be creating a pocket on the back side of the 3x4 photo spot, I only put adhesive on the bottom half of that 3x4 photo, and that way it's enough to adhere that photo down to my transparency, and then hopefully later on when I'm working on the back side and adhering down my pocket, that will cover up most of the adhesive there. So on top of that, I have my chipboard frame on top of the 4x6 photo. So I did notice that my 4x6 photo was slightly taller than the height of the chipboard frame. And I think that's because these chipboard frames are designed to go into 4x6 pockets potentially. So maybe that's why it was slightly shorter than the full height of a 4x6 photo. But in any case, I added some 1/8-inch score tape all the way around the edges of the chipboard frame, and then stuck that down to my 4x6 photo. And again, just making sure that I have as less adhesive showing as possible. So I only applied adhesive around the very edges of all 4 sides of that photo, and then stuck it down. And I did make sure to stick it down kind of centered on the right edge of the transparency page as well. And the reason why is because I'm going to put all of the frames in the same spot on each of the transparencies, so that when the pages are all stacked together, you can kind of use these as like index tabs and see exactly where each day of the week starts. And then for the colored day of the week faux leather piece that I had printed out, the one that I printed out at 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall, I am going to need some foam adhesive to adhere that down as well. Again, trying not to let this show too much on the back side. So I made sure to only adhere this down where this is going to be covered by my weather screenshot on the back side. So you'll see kind of what I'm talking about when I flip this over, and I'm starting to work on that as well. And then on the very edge of that pleather piece, like on the right side where it's going to be overlapping that chipboard frame, I did just apply some 1/8 inch score tape on the chipboard frame as well, so that that pleather piece, faux pleather piece, is nice and stuck down onto the chipboard frame, in addition to being adhered down with the foam tape onto the transparency. For the back side of the transparency, I have another 3 elements that I'm going to be using every day. The largest one is going to be one of these stitched hearts, and this was available as an add-on to the Week in the Life collection, but I decided to make my own out of the digital ones. So I assembled them in the same way, but instead of having the day of the week printed in white on the top part of the heart in the colored section, I decided to use the Day in the Life 2022 basic stamp set to print out the word gratitude instead. The actual stamp says gratitude for this day, but the way the pocket works, the pocket kind of covers up the bottom part that says for this day, so only the word gratitude shows up when you look at the pocket. On the bottom part of that heart piece, for each day of the week, I've layered one of the vellum foiled hearts from the mini kit, as well as the day of the week that I've typed up again in my Dymo label maker, and it's just like the first 3 letters of each day of the week. So I have MON for Monday. And of course, I'm making sure that all of my pieces match. So for Monday, I'm sticking with pink. As for the little tags that I'm including inside each pocket, recently I got the 49th and Market 6x8 add-on kit from Citrus Twist Kits, and that contains a bunch of pieces from the 49th and Market Spectrum Sherbet collection, and I specifically pulled out the tags from the Ephemera Bits pack. And the colors matched so well with the Ali Edwards Week in the Life kit that I just had to use these as my little inserts for gratitude each day. The add-on pack from Citrus Twist Kits only came with the warm-toned ephemera bits, so the ones specifically in the strawberry lemonade part of the Spectrum Sherbet collection. So I did have to purchase the other blues and green tags from a local scrapbooking store, but I really like how the tones of that kit match the tones in the Ali Edwards kit. The only color that I had in my Week in the Life rainbow, which wasn't present in the Spectrum Sherbet collection, was the gray that I am using for Saturday. And for that, I just used some pattern papers from Tim Holtz, just like a kind of a plain gray pattern paper. I'll leave a link down in the description box below if I can find the exact paper pad, but it was from a couple of years ago, so I think it's probably retired by now. To include my journaling on the backs of each of those tags, I just created a table on Microsoft Word and set my cells at 2 3/4 inches wide by 3/4 inches tall. And then I created 21 cells because I have 3 gratitude items for each of the 7 days of the week. And then I just typed out my journaling in each of those cells. And then I did change the borders of the table to a bit of a lighter gray so that it doesn't show up as much when it's printed out. And then I just cut those out and then put them on the backs of each of those tags individually so that they can all go inside the pocket. And the twine that I'm using for the tops of those tags is from Lawn Fawn. So that takes care of one element of the 3 elements that I have on the back of this transparency. The smallest one is the screenshot that I took each day of the forecast here in Red Deer. And I just made sure to do that every day using my weather app. And I printed that out to the same width as the pleather piece that I have on the front of my transparency page so that I can cover up that area that I have the foam tape on the back of the transparency. And then the third item that I have on the back of this transparency page is a Vellum Pocket that I created to store all of my screenshots that I took throughout the day. So this is a screenshot of my Fitbit tracker, as well as some newspapers like the front page. And I cut a vellum piece at 4 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches tall. And then I scored on the 4-inch side at 1/2 inch and 3 3/4 inches, as well as on the 2 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then that just allows me to create some hinges so that I can create a pocket using my score tape. And then I did take my circle punch. This is a 1-inch circle punch from EK Success. And I created a bit of a little punch out at the top of that pocket so that it's a bit easier to slide my inserts in and out of that pocket. So that vellum pocket is going to go directly on the back of that transparency page where I have that 3x4 photo on the top. And then that way that covers up some of the adhesive that I had showing from the front side of my page. You'll also notice that my stitch heart pocket is kind of layered over the top of my vellum pocket. And you just want to make sure that you don't get any adhesive on the very top right corner of your heart pocket, just because if you do get any adhesive on that, it's going to potentially transfer to the inserts that you have inside your pocket, and you definitely don't want that. You'll also notice that after I created my first page, which was the Monday, I used that first page as a kind of template to make sure that all of the following days I have the elements placed approximately in the same place that I have my Monday elements placed. Because I'm using transparencies for this project, it's really easy to do. All you have to do is binder clip the next transparency over top of your Monday transparency. And that way I can kind of look through the transparency that I'm working on to the transparency that I have my Monday pieces on. And then I can make sure that everything is positioned exactly where I had positioned my Monday pieces. So I'm just going to continue on with my assembly until I have all 7 pages done. And in the pocket protectors where I have stored all of my pieces for each day of the week, I still have my plastic word phrase as well as my canvas word strip that I used as prompts for capturing photos for each day of the week. So those will be pages 2B and 3A, and I'll be working on those in the next video. So here's a quick look at all of the pages that I've completed so far in my Week in the Life 2022 album. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to see how my album turned out. Thanks so much for watching!